sogi chonam la jamchu mardu dagi katsuchi dagi chenyen gibe sunam ki drola benchir sangye druparsho sangye chonam sogi chonam la jamchu mardu dagi katsuchi dagi chenyen gibe sunam ki drola benchir sangye druparsho sangye chonam sogi chonam la jamchu pardu dagni yatsuchi dagi chenyen gibe sunam ki drola benchir sangye druparsho.
I mean, I love giggling.
That's the first time I ever heard her say anything.
Yeah, she doesn't speak much. Yeah, she's trying to hit that song anthem.
We're at 9:32.
Okay.
Do you want to...
Mutok Jepak Shakti Jami Takpar Jami Takpar Tokpe Jepak de Nature.
Okay, this is so there's three kinds of JPOC, which I kind of agree with Ben Kramer. Maybe we should call it indirect perception or something. Because it's divided into three and only one of them is obviously logic. So if you call it deduction in this case, you're going to have some trouble, I think. So anyway, ngutop is a difficult word. It means ngupai topki.
By the power of the thing.
Yeah, by the very power of the thing, which means smoke implies fire. Okay, so by the power of the object called smoke, you can deduce fire. So this kind of perception is called the thing suggests. Thing suggested perception. The smoke suggests fire. Maybe something like that. I mean, I'm not seriously proposing, I'm just saying it's something like that. Okay, the thing suggests fire. Okay, so we're gonna shock to you. Yeah, sorry. How do you feel? Better. You're gonna see. Shock to you means whoa. Shock to you means I can give you an example of this kind of indirect perception, which is suggested by the object, which means logic. Okay, deduction, and it is. Can you make it less hot? Yeah.
The realization that sound is not is changing.
Yeah, the indirect perception, which talks. Yeah, where you realize. So those of you who are new to Tibetan, this same word without the S means to think something falsely. But with the S, it means to perceive something correctly. And it's pronounced the same, which is a disaster. Okay, so the indirect perception, where you realize that sound is changing, is an example. Okay, all right.
Imply that it's based on the understanding
Yeah.
of Chip.
As a result of a logical statement. Yeah, okay. Now there's two other kinds of indirect perception that we're going to cover. Here we go.
Jake Jepak Shakti Yede, Dumon Chin, Dawa, Shijipe, Janju Rum, Tope, Jepak de Nature.
Yeah, Drakpa, we like to call it convention. Literally it means famous, right? But it means everybody knows. It's an indirect perception based on what everybody knows. And it refers to the use of words, which we talked about. In American English, a lousy used car is called a lemon. So in America, if you go up to your friend and say, I can't believe it, I have a big problem, I bought a lemon, they don't think you bought a fruit, okay? So what's the lemon here?
The old rabbit.
Yeah. Shashikant, the rabbit, which is the ancient Sanskrit word for the moon. because they saw a rabbit in the moon. Okay. So everybody knows, the rabbit has risen. It doesn't mean a rabbit jumped into your house. It means the moon came up. Okay. So that's an indirect perception. Nobody said moon, but indirectly you understand they're talking about the moon. Okay. It's not logic either. It's an indirect perception. Okay. Got it? All right. Third one. Translate that.
We can give an example of a deductive, accurate perception, which is based on an authority we
Good.
see as credible.
Good. Yeah. And Lungitsema means atsema based on Lung. What's Lung?
Based on just scripture.
Scripture, yeah. A perception based on scripture. So Buddha says if you want to be a leader, you should enjoy your work. And we can't confirm that ourselves at this point, but we can trust the scripture. Okay. Now he's going to go a different way. Go ahead. Yeah, what's Seminkilo?
Incorrect perception.
Yeah, a state of mind which is not an accurate perception. A state of mind which is not an accurate perception. Yeah, no? Can be divided into 3. They're called matok, lotok, and tetom. Say matok, lotok, tetom. We're going to get examples, okay? But matok generally means you didn't realize it. You didn't realize it. Loktok means, and there's tok without an S. You have a wrong idea about it. And then tetom.
You're not sure.
Yeah, which sometimes in a class you can say bad doubt, okay? There's good doubt, there's bad doubt. Those are the 3 non-accurate perceptions, okay? And he's going to give examples for each. Go, Adam. Go, go, go. You had Nangla Mangepa. I gave it to you once. I've described it to you a lot of times. By the way, here it is. I mean, you've heard of it from me for many years, but here's where it comes from. Nangla
The
Mangepa.
thing is not as it appears, like it tricks you, like the squirrel and the leaf on the road.
Nope.
Fail to understand?
It's the girlfriend thinking about her boyfriend at home,
Oh, the guy, oh yeah.
and her mom says dinner's ready, and it doesn't register. In English we say it doesn't register. So
Is like you don't ascertain what's appearing.
yeah, it appears to you. She did yell. It was loud enough to hear, but because you were so focused on thinking about your boyfriend, it doesn't register. You don't actually hear your mom. It's not that you're being disrespectful. It's that you were so focused on your boyfriend kissed you this afternoon in high school that you actually don't hear her when she says come to dinner, okay? And then she yells at you and you say, Mom, you didn't say come to dinner. And she says, I did say come to dinner. And they're both right. They're both right. Okay.
Like you're in Tuscaloosa and she's in Arizona.
Yeah, that's a different thing. That's not nung. It didn't nung. Yeah, it didn't make its appearance to your locality. Something like that. Okay. So we say nang la mangepa. Okay. This ngepa means ascertained, register. It didn't register, but the sound did go through the house, but it didn't register. Okay.
Is it a form of pratyahara?
Yeah, it can be. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The mind is withdrawn.
So then
Yeah.
it does have to be an instance of monk It's not just that you didn't have it somewhere. It's
Yeah, exactly.
that happened to not.
Yeah, a rock is also tsemin, right?
Right.
Okay. Anyway, okay, that's called matok. It didn't register. You didn't perceive. Okay. Now we're gonna go. We're supposed to get loktok. Here's loktok 937.
Look, again, you talk part, okay? Look, shit, huh? Talk, man, look, shit, you bitch.
Yeah. Now wrong perceptions. Okay, misperceptions. Okay, as opposed to unperceptions. Okay, there are two kinds. One is wrong perception, which involves tokpa, and one is a wrong perception which doesn't involve tokpa. And this spelling of tokpa means thinking about it, discursive thought, conceptual thought. Okay. Some wrong ideas involve conceptual thought. Some wrong ideas don't involve conceptual thought. Okay. Misperceptions. Here we go. We're going to have the example of the first one.
Talk part, okay?
Kyorpe.
Look, shit, shock to you there.
Tangzin.
Tangzin, topa tang, saki tangzin, tabu de major.
Translate.
We can give examples of perceptions.
Misperception.
Misperceptions, which are also discursive.
Good. Thinking. Yeah.
Discursive thought, discursive thinking. Take the thought that of the changing, the awareness of the changing nature of sound.
Yeah, the idea that sound is takpa,
The change.
unchanging. Okay, the idea that sound is unchanging. This spelling with tokpa, you can say idea, which is different from realization. When you say realization in English, it's almost always true. I realized he was my enemy and I thought he was my friend. Then this one, idea can be wrong. I had a wrong idea. Okay. And the second one?
The tendency to think that people have some nature coming from their own side.
Nature of their own. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That people can have some nature of their own.
Meaning the husband in the kitchen that I didn't do anything. Okay, that's a loktok. That's a lokshe. That's a misperception that he exists. Okay. Next.
Tokmen lokshe shakto yode kan ri ngombo nawe wan she tang mikyu chor nawe wan she re ne de meju.
Okay, misperceptions which don't involve thinking about it. Okay. Kangring Ngumbo Nong.
Blue Mountain.
Yeah, a white snow mountain appears to you blue. What is it that you have?
See,
Loon. Jonas is yellow.
Yeah, Jonas is yellow.
I think you have loon.
Blue is blue, right?
Yeah, anyway, it's where you have an illness and you see things the wrong color. The famous example is that things look yellow. By the way, a real snow mountain, Himavat, right? If you saw one, like there's these mountains here, right? And they take up, 15% of the sky. But if you really are in a Himalayan hill station, it's half of the sky. And it feels like it's going to fall on you. It's unbelievable. It's weird. It takes up the whole half of the sky. It's the Himalayas, and it feels like they could just fall down, and they're pure white. They're totally, totally white. So this is a strong example. To see a whole half the sky, which is pure white, as blue, because you're sick, okay? Or, Mikyu Chunnang. Nah. I should have offered money.
That's the is the illusion or the mirage.
Yeah, mirage in the desert. To see a mirage in the desert as water, chur, as water. Okay. And those are wangshe. What's that mean? We've had a lot of wangbos this week. Yeah, those are based on your sense organs. They're not thinking. You didn't think and say, oh, maybe that's some water, or maybe the mountain is blue. It's a misinformation triggered by a sick physical organ. The eye is messed up. Okay, it's not that you decided to think of it as blue. Okay, so the philosophical wrongdoers are the first kind. You know, my husband is yelling and I didn't do anything. That self-existent husband. Okay.
Which tells you something, right? That in this school you have to be thinking about it to see things as self-existent, and maybe not.
I think you could say that. You might be able to say that. The infection is so deep in the higher schools that even your eye is infected by seeing things coming from their own side. Okay, here we go. This is the third kind of wrong idea, misperception.
Tetsum, shakti yete, jata kam, mita nyampe, tetsum te mechin.
Translate.
We can give examples of doubt. Doubt where you're thinking to yourself whether or not sound is changing.
Good.
And
or changing.
Or whether or not you're thinking the sound is unchanging.
Yeah.
So.
You're not sure which.
That's kind of hard, I don't know. That's a misperception?
Yeah. Well, it's not a misperception, but it's not the same. It's a state of mind, and it's not at somebody. You're thinking to yourself, you don't know, it could be either one.
Accurate perception rather than misperception. It's not an accurate perception.
To wonder whether sound is changing or unchanging is a misperception?
No, the first one wasn't a misperception either. Only the middle one was. Loc is a misperception, but like when she says, hey, Susie, get down here, that's not a misperception, you just didn't hear it.
Okay.
It's just not a tema.
Okay, anyway, now we're going to go on to the 3 levels of reality that we talked about downstairs, okay? Obvious reality, hidden reality, and super hidden reality, okay? By the way, his text, Adam's text, is foundational. It's the first thing you would learn in the monastery, because you can't go anywhere without this information, okay? So you need this as a foundation to do the other schools, okay? Okay, here we go. Mungirki. Translate.
You were using obvious reality, hidden reality, and super hidden reality?
Yeah, or anything you like. It's your book. Okay. And I'll disagree to it later.
There's a definition of evident reality.
Yeah, obvious reality.
Obvious. That thing which...
Yeah, which you can perceive.
Which you can... The musu, which you can directly perceive, or
good, which you can
directly
with a direct perception. Yeah,
with a direct, accurate perception.
Yeah, and typical examples are colors, shapes, sounds. You don't need to think about it to perceive them. Okay. Now here's a controversial statement. Go ahead.
Let's see.
It's kind of funny you just threw that in right there.
What's that mean? To say a thing exists on first level reality, obvious reality, and to say that it does something is synonym.
So karma is
obvious. Functional thing and obvious.
And obvious reality.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, don't forget, as Hasso is saying, Ngopo can mean existing thing. I suspect it means functional thing here. because it's in your face. You know, a car that goes someplace. You know, food that makes poop, stuff like that. These are in your face. You know.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Shinto Goku is going to be the curveball then for us in the school.
Well, let's see where he goes from here, because already it's getting difficult. Okay, this is a lower school, and they have strange ideas about things. Okay, all right.
Okay.
Let's go to 940. Kokyo Kitsini.
Kokyo Kitsini Yete Jepak Seme Musu Topa Chawate Major. We can give a definition of reality which is hidden.
Good.
Something which can only be realized through a deductive accurate perception.
Yeah. Okay. Second level reality. Okay. Things you have to figure out.
But he doesn't say only, and that's going to be relevant with the synonym.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Now a very controversial statement. Go ahead.
Kokyo Tang Yopa Ni Den Kokyo Tang Yopa Ni Den Chi.
Translate. Good luck.
The hidden reality and existence are synonymous.
Yeah. Like a needle at the bottom of the ocean. Needle. This is a Chinese expression. A woman's mind is like a needle at the bottom of the ocean. Or it is? Or it's Anyone want to take a shot at explaining it? He said hidden reality and existence are equal sets.
Would you translate Yopa as existence
Right,
or
not
existing
existing thing.
The same thing.
Okay.
I don't know.
Because everything that's Nungir is also
Right.
here because you can
Yeah.
you find the definition that you just gave us.
reality.
Yeah, he's trying to cause trouble. He wants to cause trouble. He was planning to cause trouble in the lounge in Sedona 500 years ago or whatever, okay? He wants to cause trouble. He says, things you cannot perceive except with your logic, and all the stuff in the universe equal set.
Meaning that they come from karma?
Nah.
That would be super cool.
No,
They're not-
it's when you
they're
use
not
together
going.
and you put
They're,
together and replace them.
Chi and Jedi.
Yeah,
They're not guilty.
right. To be hidden is to be evident is to be hidden. Well,
Yeah,
to be
right.
part of evident reality is to be
It
part
is.
of hidden reality because you can perceive it with your
And everything's hidden to somebody.
Yeah, and I talked about it downstairs a couple days ago, and it was my one glory moment at the winter debates among millions of unglorious moments. And yeah, and it was that all things are on all levels of reality. Okay, for somebody, red is Kokyo for a blind person. Okay, and the subtle workings of karma are Mungir to a Buddha, their first level reality. They can see him like they see colors. You know, they can see what you did 1 billion years ago to have this hair in your eyebrow, you know, so. Okay, so those 3 levels of reality are kind of fluid. It's kind of interesting, okay. They are fluid, okay. All right, time to go to Tsupa. The guy gets to come back and attack us.
Yay, he's ready.
Go.
Let's see where we're at. Here's the third part where we refute further rebuttal.
Good, nice. Go.
Kachinare dumacheki nam kachechin mon kyrkin bar yimbarta munsung tseme munsu topa yawa yimbeich.
Go. Translate.
Let's consider, suppose someone comes along and says, or makes the following claim. Let's consider unproduced space.
Yeah, space which was not produced by causes and conditions.
So I guess it's
Good.
I guess it's part of obvious reality.
Yeah, and it's not, by the way.
Right.
Okay, to understand the space in which Geshe Michael's sitting is a difficult thing. Try teaching the four spaces to somebody. And it takes a long time to understand the place where Geshe Michael is sitting. Too much shaking them. Okay. Yeah, so he says, oh, is it obvious reality, first level reality? You don't have to use logic to perceive it. You can just open your eyes and see it. Why? Because you can see it with
a direct, through a valid perception, an accurate perception.
Someone can see it with a direct perception. Who? A Buddha, yeah, a Buddha. They don't have to think about it. Oh, subtract Geshe Michael, what's left there, it's the space he's sitting in. They don't have to think about it, okay? So would you agree to the Kachik or not? He said, let's take the space which is unproduced. I say it's on first level reality. Why? Because someone can see it with a direct perception, without using logic. Yeah.
See a lack?
Yeah. You have to, I mean, it's a storm based on the definition you just gave us. We're in a tough spot.
Yeah. By the way, just for you, for translation purposes, why does he say Duma Cheki Namka?
Yeah.
Why does he say space which doesn't have causes and
You don't pick up the sky. So you don't-
yeah, just for your information, there are very, very, very low Abhidharma schools which say that that space is the blue thing. Okay, so if you want to nail them down and say the space that Geshe Michael's occupying, you can say Duma Cheki Namka. I'm talking about the unproduced one. I'm not talking about the one that's blue. Okay, so sometimes they'll add that. V's sister got her passport. I'm going to Paris. Okay, yay! Okay. Oui, oui. Tell me where's the best croissant place. Okay. All right. That's why I got it cut out, because now I can eat as many as I want. Okay. Next, 946. We say Tamadru. You cannot perceive that kind of space directly. Nobody can. We say Tamadru. We say Tamadru. Then he says, oh, you want to say Tamadru? This is still the other guy. Let's take that kind of space. It is to something which...
it is to something which can be directly realized through an accurate perception.
Yeah, it can too, because...
because it can be realized directly by an awareness which knows all things.
Yeah, because a Buddha can see it directly. Okay, so far he's on track. So far he's got us running. Okay, then we say, I'll be the bad guy, you be the good guy. Okay, it seems to be natural to me. I disagree that a Buddha can see it directly.
Well, if you disagree, Duma Cheki Namka Chilchin. Nam King Musu Topar Chawa Yimbarta, Nam King Topar Chawa Yimbe.
$50, not Word, and not Nick, and not Ben.
Okay,
$50.
It's,
Let's take that space.
It is so the case. It is so the case that unproduced space can be realized directly by a Buddha, by an omniscient awareness.
Because
it's realized by an awareness which knows all things.
Yeah, but come on, give it to me with the right emphasis on the words. This is a $50.
It's realized.
Yeah,
Awareness which
it
knows
is
all
too.
things.
It is too directly realized by a Buddha because it's realized by Buddha.
Mm-hmm.
What's the implication?
There's no other kind of realization.
Yeah, everything a Buddha realizes is direct. Okay. Yeah, it's direct. It's directly received by Buddha. Why? It's perceived by Buddha. That's it. That's enough. You don't have to say anything else. If it's perceived by Buddha, it must be perceived directly. There's no other, they don't need any other kind of perception. Got it? So I'd say it's good for 45. Or Xiaoping, 45. Make sure it goes to the daughter and not the father. Okay. Then we finally open our mouths and say,
But he doesn't answer much. He answers Madrid. No.
Dude, that's weird. What's up with that?
well, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, just because the Buddha can see all things directly doesn't mean that.
It's realized directly by an awareness, which by an omniscient awareness.
Yeah. We're kind of saying, come on, that's cheating to bring up a Buddha.
No.
Okay. Okay, let's move on. If you don't like it, write to him. Okay.
Any chance something?
Say again?
Any chance something's missing? That
No.
feels weird to have a Madrid after a macchiato.
Yeah, it makes sense.
That's okay.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah, it's okay.
It's in between the macchiato and the...
Yeah, no, he might keep up to the most recent one. Just because it's perceived by a Buddha doesn't mean it's perceived directly. I don't know. Let's see. Let's see. Let's go on. Madhumna, if you disagree, yeah. Yeah, but give me the key. Make it long with the S. Anybody remember how we're going to translate Shelja?
It was apprehended by an
That's Shija.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
apprehended by an omniscient.
Considered, or object of consideration. It's an object which omniscience can consider. Okay? So something is something perceived by omniscience if it's just considered by omniscience. Okay? What he's playing with here is three synonyms for existence. Topachawa, Shelja, or, here's the next one, Shidup. How do we translate that?
Established as existing. Something which
Yeah.
established as
Topachawa, Shelwajawa, and Shidupa. And when we had the Shidupi Namshat, when we discussed existence before, these were synonyms. Sheja, Shelja, Shidup, Yupa, and Yul are synonyms. Not in that list. Okay. The interesting one is Yul. Okay. Any object is a synonym for all existence.
Oh boy.
Okay. All right. Yeah. There we go. Sawardana, if you do agree that empty space is something which can be seen directly, and here he goes off on a pretty debatable thing. Okay, here we go. Go ahead. Sawardana. Whoa. Translate. If you agree that empty space can be an object of direct perception,
let's again consider unproduced space.
good.
It does not belong. It's the case that it does not belong to obvious reality.
Good, because?
Because it's not a working thing.
Whoa. Whoa.
It just means
So,
we gave a bad definition.
Right.
so it means all things you can see directly, obviously, must be
A working thing.
working. And there's no unchanging thing you could ever see directly in this school.
Well, that's
That's the argument, yeah.
well, it's
I mean, yeah, that's the argument. Okay, go. We'll just keep moving, and Bets won't think about why it can't be. Okay.
Kachiknare, John Papa Church and Kokyo Yimbata, Pocket Same, no Su Topa, Hawaii Beach.
Translate.
Let's consider. Suppose someone comes and makes the following claim. Let's consider
The
the
fact that,
changing- Let's consider the fact that sound is changing.
good.
Sorry.
ここ言いまた。
It is. So I guess you're going to tell. You're saying
Okay.
that it belongs to hidden reality.
Yeah, by the way, does it or not? What the fact that sound is
Yes.
changing, is it obvious reality or
The fact
hidden reality?
is hidden reality, but this is
Yeah.
exactly the kind of thing he loves to
If
do.
it's-
The fact is hidden reality.
Right?
Now,
Sound
changing sound is hidden reality or obvious reality?
is reality.
Yeah, it's different, right? The fact that sound is changing is difficult to perceive. Sound which changes is not difficult to see because all sound changes, okay? But here he said the fact, okay? Let's consider the fact that sound is changing. Are you telling me it's second level reality? Are you telling me it's difficult to perceive? And we say, teacher. Why you say that? Why'd you suddenly think about that? It's like when your kid thinks about candy suddenly. Like, why did that suddenly come in your mind? Why did you suddenly think to ask me, are you saying that the fact that sound is changing is hidden reality? And we said, well, why'd you come up with that? What are you talking about? And he says, because you have to see it with Jipak Tsema. Yeah, you need logic to see it, but he throws in directly. Yeah, now that might cause trouble later, okay? Because we've been saying that logic is indirect. Okay, so I'm just saying, somebody put in a ngusu here. Don't let it go. Just mark it. Maybe it's important, maybe it's not important. I'll say it again. Are you telling me that the fact that sound is changing is second level reality? And we say, why do you say that? Why are you talking about that? Because you have to see it directly with logic.
But it, what does that mean?
Yeah, what I mean, because we just got through saying that all the logic stuff is indirect. And the only direct stuff is like colors and shapes and smells, okay?
Yeah, but he's got some new category that we didn't play.
Yes, where do you get the fact? How do you know when to put in the fact?
Hey, Johnny talking. It could be unchanging sound, right?
No, it cannot be. No, that would be dra mitapa yimba. Or no, sorry, mitapidra.
We talk a drop.
Yeah. So you just have to know Tibetan syntax very well, or you'll get messed up. You'll get messed up.
That you can prove that fact just by the ending of your favorite song? You don't need logic.
You see unchanging sound, but you don't see the fact that sound is unchanging. I'm sorry, you see changing sound, but you don't see the fact that sound is changing. Okay?
Yeah, if the song is over.
It's a different. It's yeah, but you still have to think the sound. There was sound, and now there's not sound. Okay. Okay, here we go. We say the fact that sound is changing is not something that you can directly perceive with logic. And then he says, Madhumna,
Madruna drum tap churchin jipak tsemang musutopa chawa yimbarta
good.
drum tapa tope jipak tseme musutopa chawa yimbeche.
Yeah, let's take the fact that sound is changing. It is too something that you can realize directly with logic because it's something which is realized directly by the logic which understands that sound is changing.
Oh, good point.
Thanks a lot. It's pretty much the same thing. Then we say, I disagree that the fact that sound is changing is something you can realize directly with deduction, which understands that sound is changing. And he says, Dhammidappa Chechen.
Kyo tope jipak tseme musutopa chawa yimbarta kyo tope jipak tsema yimbeche.
Yeah, let's take the fact that sound is changing. it is something which is directly realized by the logic which realizes it, okay? Why? Because there does exist a form of logic which realizes it, okay?
We say Dhamma. But Buddha's logic, maybe it's direct perception.
That doesn't prove there's no logic which perceives it. You see what I mean? Just the fact that a Buddha can see that directly doesn't prove there's not logic which can perceive it by other people. Okay? So anyway, his last statement here was, there is a state of logic, accurate perception based on logic, which can perceive that sound is changing. There does exist. And then he says to us, if you disagree, which means if you think there is no logic with which we can see that sound is changing, okay, then Dhammitappa Chöchen. Good. Yeah, take the fact that sound is changing. There does too exist a deductive perception which understands it, right? Which means that sound is changing because it exists. The fact that sound is changing exists. Therefore, there must be a logic which can see it. Okay, which means if a thing exists, there is logic which can see it. Okay, that's okay.
Say it's not a sheet.
I don't know where we're going from there.
We equated with
Now, go ahead. And I love this two lines because they are my whole glorious single debate in the winter debates, okay? Kongdudena, if you agree that the fact that sound is changing is something you can see directly, okay? Dhammitappa Chöchen, let's take the fact that sound is changing. No, it's not something you can see on first level. It is not, listen, okay, this is important. The fact that sound is changing is not something which exists on an obvious level of reality because it exists on the second level of reality, which is hidden. And then we should say, Makya. Just because something can be hidden doesn't mean it can't be direct. It can't be obvious. It depends on who's looking. It depends on who's looking. Everything exists at all three levels of reality. Blind people, for them, the pink is indirect. They can only see it by logic. Oh, Vimala's been making watermelon juice. Smells like watermelon juice. Must be pink. You know, they use logic to see the pink. Okay, got it? So all objects exist on all levels of reality, and this is the one line in his book which supports that. So for me, it's a big line. I'm like, wow. Very important line. I'm going to tweet that. Okay. As soon as I learn how to tweet, I know how to. Okay. I figure if the president can do it, I can do it. Okay. Go ahead.
Which is obvious because of
Nobody has a problem with that?
he just said.
Let's translate it. Wait, let's translate it. Who's going to translate it?
Let's consider
the fact
That sound is changing.
it is so.
It is,
Reality.
yeah, it is so obviously reality.
It's a working thing.
A fact is a working thing.
He say fact, you said fact.
No, talk about it.
No, he didn't, he said,
Well, yeah, I did say fact because he said fact because that's how you say fact in Tibetan.
You just said change.
no, you said Dhamma.
Okay, listen. If something does something, it changes because it takes effort to do something. And then it moves. And then you, yeah, like that. But facts never change. Facts never change. Facts cannot work. You see, because when you work, you change. Okay, when you push a table, your hand changes. Your hand gets smoother or something. You know. Okay.
Shall we talk about the unchangingness of sound?
That would be mitakwe.
Still,
It's a quality, man.
yeah.
I'm just saying this 958 kind of sucks, okay? I'm sorry.
Well, doesn't that throw into question the whole
By the way, it's Kachi.
earlier, our role?
Oh, that is Kachik. I guess you could say that.
I mean, it doesn't totally solve our problem, but it is Kachi. I mean, we have nothing to say to it.
We
Anyway.
do.
He probably thinks that because you're talking about sound, you're talking about it's changing.
Well, he does this all, yeah, he keeps doing this to the whole time.
Anyway, this one's really uncomfortable. Okay, I don't think the fact that sound is changing is a thing that does anything. Okay, because if it did, it would change. Okay.
Man,
All right.
like somehow we walk away convinced. Why does he get the last reason? It's also strange.
Yeah, and then we change the subject.
Like, yeah, good point. No, listen, you got us there, Kachi. First time for everyone.
Yeah, let's see if he goes somewhere else. Okay, go ahead, Adam.
카치나래 좀 타고 쳐체 문도 막혀와 타 거기에 매체 세나
Markel. It's basically the same thing we just had. He just worded it differently. And let's take the fact that sound is changing. It is something which is not evident. Before he said it's not something which is evident. Now he said it is something which is not evident. Okay, same thing. Because it's not evident because it's hidden. She agreed. And then we say just because it's hidden doesn't necessarily mean it's not evident. Okay? Same thing, basically. Okay, Madhubna, if you disagree that the fact that sound is unchanging is hidden, okay? Here we go, read.
맞추나 좀 타고 쳐체 거기에 말타
Good.
시주 베이체
Yeah, let's take the fact that sound is changing. It is too hidden because shidu,
it can be established as existing.
because it exists. So what's the kyaba? If something exists, if something exists, it's second level reality. All things that exist are hidden. All things.
That's okay.
No, but it's still Kachi.
I don't know. Okay. Anyway, I like it. Okay.
I'm really confused, but that's.
Are we just
The basic thing is just keep in mind that all things are at all levels of reality. Yeah, that's all. That's the bottom line. Now he's gonna go off on some tricky thing. Okay, here we go. This is, but it's an obvious tricky thing. Okay, go ahead.
카치나래 문도 겐 제제 셰바임 말타
Wait, you're going up or down? You got this Sugang Tao. He invented a new Tao. It's Tao. Shepa.
I was going down.
Yeah, go down. That's fine. Are you telling me?
Yeah, are you telling me that that there are token
The book. Yeah.
Tencha token.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's consider the Absmalakar.
Yeah, let's consider this classical commentary. By the way, the title of the Abhisamankara in the Tengyur is Tenjung Muntoken. So he's just, yeah, this Shastra in this particular case is part of the title. Okay, it's called Abhisama Alankara Nama Mahayana Shastra or something like that. Okay, all right. So let's take that classical commentary called "The Jewel of Realizations," written by Asanga, taking dictation from Maitreya. Sheba Himata. So it's a state of mind, right? And we're like, huh? A book is a state of mind? Why do you say that? And he says,
because it's
It's-
accurate perception.
it's Sema. Okay, now the trick here is that the word pramana can be an adjective to mean correct. Okay? Pramana does not only mean a state of mind. Like we had Seme Kebu in the proof of future life, a person who cannot lie. That in that case, pramana is an adjective who always tells the truth. Okay? So we talk about a lung tsema. Okay? Lung tsema means, now listen, is there a difference between lung tsema and lung kitsema?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
Now I'll say it again. Lung tsema and lungatema.
Scripture, which is
The first one is,
correct scriptures.
yeah, correct scripture, and the second one is,
Accurate perceptions based on the scripture.
nice, accurate perception based on scripture. I'll say it again. In Tibetan language, lung, which means scripture, tsema means correct or accurate perception. When you say it like this, lung tsema, it means correct book. When you say lung ki tsema, it means perception based on a book.
So it's
Got it?
yeah.
No, not ki, lungi.
But in the
Yeah.
second case, the perception is also correct perception based
Yeah,
on
yeah,
That's the big
yeah. Nope. Okay. So now you know where he's going. Now you know the trick. He's playing on the difference of the word. Okay. So here we go. I'm not finished.
We are out of time.
Let me finish this one. Tenju Gundok Jen Che Chen. Let's take Maitreya's book. He says, Shepa Yimbatao. It's a state of mind. It must be a state of mind. Why? Because it's pramana. It's pramana. But that pramana is an adjective. Because it's correct. It's not saying, yeah, it's pramanish.
Are you on 63 now or 62?
I'm on 962.
Is here when in the debate you can ask for clarification? Like,
Yeah, you can. You have to.
Ah,
You have to say, are you talking about sema as an adjective, or are you talking about sema as a noun? Okay, yes.
Is this just to teach the young debaters that sema can be an adjective or a noun?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They'll get confused. Lung sema means correct scripture. Lung kitsema means, yeah, correct perception based on reading a scripture. Okay, that's all. They're both pramana. One is an adjective, one is a noun. Okay, here we go.
Sashi
Fuki Joshi Meton Tam Rira Bingshi Ninde Kempadi Sangye Shindu Mite Uwagi Roku Namta Shila Chupasho Inam Guru Radha Mandala Kane Atayami Dikewokun Sanam Yeshe Toto Shin Sanam Yeshe Lechuwai Tabakuni Topasho Shogadi Shmogadi. Cool. Next up.